Well, good Saturday morning. We are looking at a very nice, quiet weekend on tap for us. We received some beneficial rain for a couple of days last week. I know it was fairly persistent, but we needed the rain in a big way. Now, as we kick off the weekend, nice and dry though. We've got beautiful conditions once the sun is up, but this is going to come with quite a warm up for us. We've been blessed with such a beautiful stretch of fall-like temperatures really for the last couple of weeks. Not going to be the case today. In fact, we already started heating things up yesterday. I was out and about yesterday enjoying our Friday. However, the temperature's back on the rise. For today, Western North Carolina topping out on average mainly in the mid 80s. The rest of us upper 80s pushing 90 degrees, and that's due to our winds shifting primarily out of the south, so it's ushering in warmer temperatures for us. And the next couple of days, we continue to heat things up, sitting right around 91 degrees on Sunday. So it's been a while since we've actually seen the 90s back in the forecast. So this is trending about 10 degrees above average for tomorrow and still above average moving on into Monday and Tuesday, and then even Wednesday, mid to upper 80s. So we've got a very warm stretch of weather for us. It's going to feel like summertime, but for the most part, things are looking mainly dry. For the time being, we've got overall mostly sunny skies once the sun is up. There is a chance for a few extra clouds drifting on in towards the end of the day. We've got a system far off towards our north and northwest that's going to bring in a little bit more cloud cover at times, but still looking to be nice and dry. Can't completely rule out a rogue sprinkler or two, mainly for the higher elevations later this afternoon, but I anticipate most of our Saturday and even into our Sunday looking nice and dry. So if you have any plans, looking good to go. Now we are tracking the tropics. Couple things we're watching. Right now, no immediate threats to the U.S., at least here in the Atlantic. We got to watch an area of interest in the Gulf. We've got what was the remnants of Gordon starting to gradually fizzle on out. And we do have an invest here sitting in the middle of the Atlantic, but it only has about a 10% chance of development. Another area of interest moving off the coast of Africa. We'll keep a close eye on it, but not very concerned with it. The one that we do need to watch, though, is starting to move right in the Gulf of Mexico. It's got a very good chance of development within the next several days, so we could potentially see some impacts out of that. So we'll continue to keep you posted as we watch that system. So the 4-day looks like this. Overall, looking mainly dry this weekend, but temperatures heating up, upper 80s to the lower 90s. Starting off next week, mainly dry as well, and then our rain chances will start to ramp on up, especially as we head towards mid to late week with slight cool down by late week. Well, last week we finally received some very beneficial rainfall, and now the sunshine has returned just in time for the weekend. Couldn't ask for better weather. Now, if you're a fan of those summertime temperatures, we've got that ahead for us. This afternoon highs for the upstate northeast Georgia will be climbing into the upper 80s, lower 90s. So yes, it's going to be a hot one. Final day of summertime and feeling like summertime. Western North Carolina highs on average topping out in the mid 80s. Now, as we move throughout the next couple of days, temperatures will continue to climb well above average, about 10 degrees above average by Sunday, back into the lower 90s. Still into early to mid next week, temperatures will be sitting in the mid to upper 80s. So above average temperatures still hanging around, and that's going to be the case for much of next week. So we had such a great stretch of fall-like temperatures the last couple of weeks. We were due for a little bit of a warm-up. So roller coaster temperatures in store for us. That's also coming with potential impacts from the tropics. We've got to watch a couple things here. So let's take a look at the tropics. It's that time of year the activity starts to get a little bit more busy in the Atlantic and the Gulf, and that's exactly what we have here. Right now, we have 3 areas sitting in the middle of the Atlantic. We've got this area moving off the coast of Africa, low end chance for further development. We have the remnants of what was Gordon, and we also have an invest that doesn't really look like we are going to continue to see any further development there. But the one a little bit closer to home has a medium chance of further development as it eventually works its way into the Gulf of Mexico as we go throughout the next couple of days. So with the latest guidance here, we could see some of these impacts. Now, there's still a little uncertainty with how far westward this tracks or how far eastward it goes, but models are indicating that By the end of next week, we could see some of those impacts a little bit closer towards the U.S. So let's take a look. Let's fast forward to Tuesday, Wednesday of next week. Right now, things are looking nice and dry now through then. As we get towards Wednesday in particular, that's when we start to see this area that we've been watching begin to get a little bit more organized. It looks a little bit more like a blob by the time we get towards Wednesday and Thursday, but you can see that low pressure is trying to work its way into the Gulf of Mexico. Now, where things get a little interesting is by the very end of next week. So this is Friday morning. We're starting to see this work its way closer towards the southeast. So right there towards the panhandle of Florida, eventually lifting northward as it brings that moisture inland. So a little bit closer towards home, we could see those impacts. Still a lot of uncertainty with how the system actually plays on out, but this is an area we need to keep a close eye on as we watch the tropics in the next couple of days. So the 4-day looks like this. Right now, things are nice and quiet. We are looking at mostly sunny skies today into tomorrow. Temperatures back into the upper 80s, lower 90s. Monday and Tuesday remaining nice and dry for the time being. But by the middle to end of next week, that's where we could start to see some impacts from the Gulf as we're tracking that system that could potentially develop further. So we'll continue to keep you posted, but for the time being, enjoy a beautiful finish to the last day of summer.